students, welcome to 6 to 8 channel of Byju's. All of you are champions and I'm your teacher Ankita. In today's class, we'll be discussing about the NCERT exercise question of the chapter Microorganisms. It's a very interesting chapter and we'll be discussing about the questions and of course we'll be looking into the answers and of course we'll be discussing how we can write the answers in the examination. So now that we are clear that what we'll be doing in today's class, let's get started. Before we start our class, I want you to tell you about the Byju's mini learning program. It's an amazing program and of course you can avail the interesting and super interesting classes if you use the code YTFREE. That is absolutely free, right? So in these amazing classes, we have two teachers that will be helping you to learn better. We have personal mentors, we have live interactive classes. You will be getting quizzes and the test to assess you. And of course, you can pick the timing of the classes according to your schedule. So it's such an interesting and amazing opportunity for you to try, right? Use the code YTFREE and this offer is there only for limited time. So do try it out today only. The link of the classes is there in the description box below. So please do try it out. Then let's talk about the Telegram group, right? I'm sure you're already there. But if you haven't joined the Telegram group now, there's a link of the group in the description box below. So you can ask your parents to join the group. And why it's important for you to join the group? So that you can get the session notes, revision questions, fun day facts, right? On Sunday we have amazing facts. Then of course we have homework questions, quizzes and session update. So I would request you to join the group. Now that we are clear, right, that what we're learning, we talked about all of the important things. Now everyone, let's get started. Over here we have the first question, that is fill in the blanks, and this question is for 1 mark. Very easy question. The question is microorganisms can be seen with the help of a dash. It's a very easy question. In this particular question we talk about, we'll be able to see the microscopes with the help of the microscope, right? Microorganisms are really very tiny. We'll not be able to see them with our naked eyes, but we can see the microbe, right, with the help of the microscope. So the correct answer over here is microbes, and over here we got the answer that microorganisms can be seen with the help of a microscope. Moving to the next question over here, we have blue-green algae fix dash directly from the air and enhance fertility of soil. 1 marks question. Over here we are talking about the blue-green algae, and of course it directly takes something from the air and of course enhance the fertility of the soil. So over here let's quickly talk about, right, so we know that the blue-green algae converts the insoluble atmospheric nitrogen into the soluble form, and of course it actually helps in enhancing the soil fertility, right? It acts as a natural fertilizer, so we have the answer with us. Blue-green algae fix nitrogen directly from the air and enhance the fertility of the soil. So we got 1 marks over here. It's a very easy question and we got the answer. Now let's move to the next question over here. Here we have to fill in the blanks, and over here we have the question. Alcohol is produced with the help of dash. Interesting question, right? We're talking about the alcohol is produced with the help of what? So over here when we talk about, we know that we can produce the alcohol by the process of fermentation, and for that of course we'll be needing the yeast, right? Fungi like yeast over here. We have the specific name for that. Of course the byproduct of this whole reaction will be the carbon dioxide, and of course we uses this in the preparation of wine, bread, etc. And over here we have the reaction. Now this is really very important. We have the glucose, right? It will be undergoing the reaction. Over here we have the yeast, alcoholic fermentation will, and of course we will have the production of the ethanol and the release of carbon dioxide. So over here we have the answer. So of course the correct answer is that yeast alcohol is produced with the help of yeast, and with this we got the answer. Let's quickly move to the next question. These all are really very simple questions. I hope that you're noting down all the important points that we are discussing. Here we have cholera is caused by dash. Now what is caused by? Now we know that cholera is a disease, right? It's caused by the causative organisms. We have the cholera and it is caused if the individuals drink or eat the contaminated water or the food. So that's the main reason for that. And of course it is caused by the bacteria. So if the bacteria is present in the water or in the food, and if an individual eats that water or drink that, right, drink that water and eat that food, the individual can suffer from the disease which is the cholera. So here we have the answer. Cholera is caused by bacteria. A very easy answer and we got it. Let's further move to the next question over here. Here we have the next question. Now these are MCQs. So we have the question, yeast is used in the production of. Very interesting question, right? And we have 4 options. A, sugar. B, alcohol. C, hydrochloric acid. And of course, D, oxygen. Very easy, right? Yeast is used in the production of. So here, when we talk about the solution of it, we know that we use yeast in production of the alcoholic drinks and of course in the bread also. So here we have the equation. We have the glucose, of course, which is the sugar, right? Of course, we have the yeast over here and we'll see the production of the ethanol, the alcohol, and the release of carbon dioxide gas over here. If you go back to the question, alcohol is the correct answer. So we now know that yeast is used in the production of the alcohol. Moving to the next question over here, that question is done. The following is an antibiotic. Now, very interesting question, right? So we have to find the following is an antibiotic. In options we have A, sodium bicarbonate, B, streptomycin, C, alcohol, and D, yeast. Antibiotics. For this particular question, we have to understand what are antibiotics over here. Let's quickly recall what are antibiotics. Now, we know that antibiotics are the chemical substance, right? They are the chemical substance that either kill or stops the growth of the disease causing microorganisms. So basically, they are the one that will be, when it move inside our body, they will be protecting our body and they'll be fighting against the microorganisms. So the antibiotics are really very important. And over here we have the example of it, that is the streptomycin. So now that we have the hint of the answer, let's go back to the question and we know that option number B is the correct answer. Out of these options that we have, option B is the correct answer. Basically, it's an antibiotic. We got the answer right. Now let's move to the next question over here. All of these questions are really very easy. You have already seen and you have already learned all of these questions and the important concepts with Aishwarya ma'am during the classes. Over here, we're just quickly discussing the questions. Over here, we have the next question again, which is an MCQ question. We have that the carriers of malaria, right, causing protozoan is. So basically, it's a carrier of malaria which actually caused by a protozoan, and we have to find out basically. So we're talking about a disease and the agent, and we have to pick what is it. Over here we have the 4 options. We have option A, which is a female Anopheles mosquito, B, cockroach, C, housefly, and D, butterfly. Interesting question, right? Let's quickly talk about the malaria. First, let's understand malaria. We know that it's a disease, right? And of course, for that, we have a mode of transmission. Now, in that, we have the vector. Now, the vector will be an organism that will be carrying the pathogen inside their body. So, in this case of malaria, we have the vector, which is a female Anopheles mosquito. Over here, this is the vector. And if this particular mosquito will be biting the individual, they will be transferring the pathogens into the body of the in the body of the patient. That's how the person will be getting the disease. So that's very important for us to understand. So now we know what is vector, and over here we have the mosquito as a vector, and the pathogen is the Plasmodium, which of course is a protozoan. So we have the understanding about the malaria, how it is caused and what is the mode of transmission and the name of the pathogen. Now let's go back to the question over here. We know that option number A is absolutely correct. Now we got the answer right. Now let's move from here to the next question, and it's a very easy question. The question is, the most common carrier of the communicable diseases is. Now we have these options. We have A ant, B housefly, C dragonfly, and D spider. Most common carrier of the communicable diseases. Now, of course, we have to understand what these diseases means, right? Now, these diseases are those diseases that can be easily transmitted, right? It can easily move from one individual to the next individual. And we have to find which of these can be a very active carrier that will be carrying the pathogens and, of course, the diseases. So, let's quickly talk about it. So, we know that housefly is the most common carrier for the communicable diseases. So that's a very easy answer, right? I'm sure you must have seen that housefly will be sitting on the dirty places, right? And they will be flying from there, and they might sit on the food that we eat. And if we eat that food, we might get sick, right? So over here we have the answer, that is the housefly. And option B is the correct answer. With this, we got the answer. Now, if you look at this particular question, the question is really very easy. But these such questions, right, the questions that we are doing require an active recall. We have to understand that what is these important words, right? If we can recall these words, right, and then we'll be able to get the answers. So that's really very important for each one of us to read the question properly, because the answer is usually hidden in the question itself. Now that we are done with this question, let's quickly move to the next question over here. The next question, of course, over here is again an MCQ. We are in question number 9. Interesting, right? Here we have the question, the bread or idli dough rises because of. Very interesting question, right? I'm sure all of us love eating bread and idlis. So the dough that actually help in the preparation of the idli or the bread rises because of what? In options we have A, heat, B, grinding, C, growth of yeast cell, or D, niddling. So it's a very interesting question, right? So let's look over here and let's talk about the concept. So over here we know that bread dough rises because of the growth of the yeast cells in it. Now, of course, there are various reasons for that. There's release of the carbon dioxide, and of course, when fermentation occurs, what happens? We know that there's a release of the gas also. So that's a really very important thing for all of us to remember. And over here we have the correct answer, that is option number C. Here we go. So it's a very easy question altogether. Now let's move to the next question over here. That is question number 10. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is called as. Easiest question of all the time, right? In options we have A, fermentation, B, molding, C, fermentation, or D, infection. We're talking about the conversion of the sugar into alcohol, and we know the answer. The answer is the fermentation. We know that in the fermentation process, we will see the conversion of the sugar into alcohol. So over here we have the sugar, we have the yeast, right? And of course, when we add, like minus the oxygen, of course, we'll have the release of the carbon dioxide and we'll have the production of the alcohol. So over here we have the answer, that is option number C, that is fermentation. So the process of the conversion of sugar into the alcohol is called as the fermentation. Now that we are done with this question, let's take a look at the next question. Now this next question is really very interesting. Oh, it's look a very lengthy question, right? We have to match the following, and we have column A and we have column B. So we have in column A the names of the different pathogens, right? Basically, microorganisms. Will not call them pathogens because not all of them are the pathogens, right? They are microorganisms or the microbes. And in column B, we have the activities or the process that will be happening with them. So let's quickly discuss about it, right? So we have bacteria. Over here, what we have fixing nitrogen, setting of the curd, baking of the bread, causing malaria, causing cholera, causing AIDS, or producing antibiotics. When we talk about this, right? So bacteria, we know that plays a lot of important thing, right, and are harmful, and very rarely they are useful also. But among these, when we talk about it, it matches with that. It causes the cholera. So we know that bacteria causes the cholera. So over here I'll not be marking, but over here I'm writing this because if I put the lines, it will be very confusing for all of us. So that's bacteria will be causing the cholera. Then rhizobium. We know that these are really very important. They are present in the root nodules of the leguminous plants, and they help us in the plants, basically in the fixing of the nitrogen. So that is option number 2. Then we have lactobacillus. It is also a bacteria, but it is a good bacteria, right? A useful bacteria. Lactobacillus actually help in the setting of the curd. So over here, I'll write lactobacillus that actually help in the setting of the curd. Then we have yeast. Now among these, baking bread, causing AIDS or producing antibiotics or causing malaria. We know that yeast plays a very important role in the baking of the bread. Then we have a protozoan. We know that over here, a protozoan is a plasmodium that we're talking about. And it causes what? Malaria. So over here we have. Now that we are left with 2 options in column B, we have causing AIDS and producing antibiotics, and in column A we have a virus. So we know that virus will not be able to help in the production of the antibiotics, right? Or sorry, antibodies, not the antibiotics, antibodies. So we know that a virus will not be able to produce the antibodies. But of course, a virus can cause the AIDS in the individual. So over here, this will be the answer. So we are done, and this is an extra thing that we have which has no match over here. But we got the answers. Now let's go back over here and let's see the answers. Over here we have bacteria cause the cholera, rhizobium help in the fixing of the nitrogen, lactobacillus plays a very important role in the setting of the curd, we have yeast that plays a very important role in baking of the bread, protozoan cause the disease malaria, and virus can cause the disease which is the AIDS. So we have the correct answer over here, and I hope that you also got the answer, and I hope that you have noted down all the important points that we are discussing. With this, we are done with this question. Now let's quickly move to the next question, that is question number 12. And over here, now we'll have some of the subjective type questions. Till now we have the objective type, we have the fill in the blanks, MCQs and match the column. Now we'll be seeing that how we will be writing the answers in the examination of these subjective types of question. The question is, can microorganism be seen with the naked eye? If not, how can they be seen? Very easy question, right? We know that microorganisms are tiny organisms that are not visible with the naked eyes. To observe the microorganisms, we need an instrument, and the name of the instrument is the microscope, right? So let's see how we can frame our answer. So we have that, we know that we can easily observe the microorganisms only with the help of the microscope. Now we know the answer, but let's see and let's learn how we can frame our answer. So we have this, it's for 2 marks. So the term microorganism, first we'll tackle the term microorganisms. So first we'll just quickly define what is microorganism or explain. So we know that the term microorganism refers to the organism that are invisible to our naked eye, right? Without any lenses will not be able to see, right? Without the help of the microscope, we'll not be able to see the microorganisms. Even if I wear the specs, I'll not be able to see, right? So of course, they are invisible to the naked eye. Thus, they cannot be seen normally. So that's of course we are clear with it. But over here, in the answer, it is very straightforward put in that microorganisms will not be able to seen with they're invisible, and we will not be able to see them with the naked eyes. Now that we are clear with that, now the second part of the question, that how can we see the microorganisms? Of course, we can see the microorganisms if we use the apparatus or the instrument which is the microscope, right? And of course, we can easily observe the microorganisms or the cells, right? So this is how you can frame your answer. The question has 2 parts, and you have to write your answer in such a way that you are covering all the parts that we have in the question. So I hope that you got the answer, and I hope that now you're clear that how you have to frame this answer if this question comes in your examination. We are done with this question, right? Let's quickly move to the next question over here. Over here we have question number 13, and it's for 1 marks. The question is really very easy. Let's take a look at it. The question is, what are the major groups of microorganism? It's a very straightforward question, just asking about the groups of the microorganism. And of course, when we talk about it, we have important 5 parts, right? We have bacteria, fungi, sorry, not the 5. We can write about the virus, but of course, we have to mention that viruses are non-living, right? And they are living only inside the body of the organism. So when we talk about the classification, we usually keep the virus out of it. And sometime in various books, I'm sure you must have seen that viruses is there. But when we talk about the microbes, you can leave out the virus. So we have bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and the algae. So over here we have 4, and you can state in this particular way. So the microorganisms can be classified into 4 major groups, and of course you can list them: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and the algae. So it was a very straightforward question, and we got the answer. Let's move to the next question. Here we have, again for 1 marks, we have to name the microorganism which actually can fix atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. Very straightforward question, right? Over here we are talking about the nitrogen fixing microbes. We have a long list, right? We have a list of the microorganisms, so you can mention, right? So we have cyanobacteria, we have nitrobacter, and of course we have so we have these, and then you can definitely mention over here the microorganism which can actually help in fixing the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. You can mention all the names. And this is how you can frame your answer. It's a very easy question. Whenever you have 1 marks answer, please don't spend your time in writing the stories behind it. You just need to write the name, and that's what the question is asking you. So that's really very easy for us to understand also. Moving to the next question, over here we have a question for 3 marks, right? And the question what we have to write 10 lines on the usefulness of the microorganisms in our life. So the question is really very straightforward. You have to write 10 lines on the good microbes. So now when you see such questions and you see such marks, 3 marks, now you recall what are the important things you remember about the microorganisms. So once you're clear with that, it will be easily framed, you can easily frame your answer. So let's take a look over here what we have. So we have these useful microorganisms. We know that microorganisms plays a very important role in the food industry. They help in the production of the bread, cake, idlis, dosas, right, in the batters, of course. Then, of course, cheese we also get with the help of the different microorganisms. So we can mention that. Specifically, you can mention them in at least 3 to 4 lines. Then, of course, we know that there are various good microbes that actually help in the making of the medicines, right, making of the antibiotics. So over here again we can mention how they plays a very important role, right. Then we have the waste management, that how the microorganisms plays a very important role in the decomposition process and help in managing the waste. So we have some clarity, right, and let's see how we can frame our answer over here. So for 3 marks we have to write 10 lines. So let's quickly go through all of these lines, right. First, of course, we have the preparation of the food items over here. Preparation of the food items like curd, cakes and bread plays a very important role over there. Then, of course, we have the use in the production of the alcohol and the vinegar. Then they make medicines like antibiotics. They increase soil fertility by fixing atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. So this is important. They clean the environment by decomposing, right, dead and decay organisms and matters, very important. Our gut microorganism help us to digest the food better. So over here also we have some microbes help in the better preservation of the food. This is also very important. Then some microbes help in processing and aging of the cheese. We know that they do. Some microbes are used as a biogas, and microbes are also used for the sewage treatment. So over here we have a long list. I'll just move aside so that you can see all of it. Take a screenshot of it, everyone, so that you can just see all of it. And here we have, right, now this is how we will be solving the question. Now it's a very complicated question this way, so but just remember that you have to remember all the important points where the microorganisms plays an important role and then write the answer. So with this we are done with this question, right. Let's quickly move to the next question, which is for 3 marks over here, and it's a 16th question. In this particular question we have to write a short paragraphs on the harmful effects of microorganisms. So just now we tackled the question of useful microorganisms, and now we have to write a short, very short paragraph on the harmful effects of microorganisms. So let's quickly talk about them. So we know that harmful microorganisms are the one that will be causing the diseases, right, in the humans, plants and animals. We call them as the pathogens, right. Those microorganisms that cause a disease in plants, animals and humans, we call them as the pathogens. Over here we have the examples. We have viruses, bacteria, protozoa, fungi and worms. All of these causes the different diseases in plants, animals and in the humans. So we can frame our answer, and then of course you can write a short paragraph in such a way that microorganism can be both useful and harmful, right? And the harmful microorganism that causes disease are called as pathogen, and that causes a disease in the humans, plants and animal. Then you can mention the examples over here. Example of a disease causing microbes in the humans, we have the cholera, right, which causes it's a bacteria which causes a disease, cholera. Then of course we have plasmodium, it is a protozoa that causes a disease, which is malaria. Then of course, if in the other animals we have the anthrax, it's a bacteria, right, anthrax bacterium that causes a disease, which is the anthrax in the animals. In the plants also we have bacteria that causes a disease, which is the citrus canker, and fungi which causes the disease, which is rust of wheat. So here we have basically giving the examples also and telling that how these microorganisms are harmful for all 3, humans, plants and animal. So frame your answer in such a way that you're covering all the important points. So I hope that you're clear with this question. Now this is a very important question, right? It's a very trickier question and usually asked in the examination. So please take a note of this. With this we are done with this question, right? Let's quickly move to the next question over here. It's a 2 marks question and it's a very easy question. The question is, what are antibiotics? That's the first part of the question. Then what precautions must be taken while taking the antibiotics? So we have two parts of this question. Let's see how we can answer it in the examination. First, let's understand what are antibiotics. So the antibiotics are the chemical substance, right, that either will be killing or stopping the growth of the microorganism, right, the disease causing microorganism. Now, with this, we are tackling the first part of the question, that is, what are antibiotics? The second part is that what are the precautions one should take once we're consuming or taking the antibiotics? Of course, first is antibiotics can only be taken if prescribed by the doctor. So we should be talking to the doctor and then only taking the medicines. Then the course of antibiotics should not be left incomplete. So whatever the dose has been set by the doctors to the individual, they should complete that whole set, right? Complete course of it. Then of course antibiotics are to be taken at the same time every day. Every day we have to remember that we should stick to a particular time. Then of course always stay hydrated and we have to eat nutritious food, and probiotics can be taken frequently. So probiotics again helps, right? So we will be taking the probiotics also along with the antibiotics. So these are the important precautions that we should be taking, or one should be taking, if they are consuming the antibiotics. So we have tackled both the question. Now let's see how we can write the answer in the examination. Here we have. So first we'll define what are antibiotics. So antibiotics are the medicines that inhibit the growth or destroy the microorganisms, and the precautions that must be taken. So of course it's the second part. We write it in the points. We can mention medicines are be taken only when advised by the qualified doctor. This is important. Then full course of the antibiotics should be taken by the patient. Antibiotics should be taken in the proper doses at the same time. And of course, we should be drinking good amount of water and should be eating healthy food. So all of these are really very important for us to remember. For this also, I'll just quickly move aside, take a screenshot of it so that you have the complete answer with you. And I hope that you have taken a screenshot of it. With this, we are done with our discussion of the NCERT exercise question. I hope that you have taken note of all the important points that we have discussed. If not, you can actually come back, watch this video again. You can pause it, note down the important points, and you can see how you should be writing the answer in the examination. So I hope that you all are clear with this. Now let me quickly take you through again with these BYJU'S mini learning program. You can avail this program for absolutely free if you use the code YTFree. And of course, in the link, right, we have the link of the classes. Please do check them out. The offer is there only for the limited time. And these classes, we have 2 teacher model. We'll have a personal mentor that will be helping you, guiding you through. And of course, we have live interactive classes, and you can pick the timing of your classes according to your timing. So that's a very interesting, information that we have for you. Then of course, you know that we have got you covered. Please show your love by hitting the like button for the video, share it with your friend, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any doubts, you can write in the comment section below. We will be able to help you. I hope that you have enjoyed the session, and I'll say bye-bye to you. Take care of yourself, lots of love, and keep on learning with BYJU'S. Bye-bye.